It is 4 p.m. We're developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Friday, September 19. Speaker Faustino Boji D. III has ordered the immediate return to the Philippines of Congressman Zaldico. That's after D revoked the travel clearance of the Ako Bicol Party List congressman said to be in the U.S. for medical treatment. Co has 10 days to comply with the House order, which cited pressing national matters that require his physical presence here. D warns of possible disciplinary and legal action if Co does not come back home.
Students, workers, and advocacy groups held separate rallies today to protest corruption and social injustice. In Manila, demonstrators called on motorists to honk against corruption, which earned solid support from passing vehicles. Activists also unrolled a long red cloth along Recto Avenue as part of the global Draw the Line campaign for climate justice. In Laguna, students from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, walked out of their classes to condemn budget cuts and demand increased support for education and basic services. Members of the faculty and some university administrators also joined the action. More rallies are scheduled later today, including 6 p.m. Black Friday protest at Welcome Rotonda in Quezon City. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel has ordered a full audit of farm-to-market road projects from 2021 to 2025. Laurel emphasized the importance of ensuring that these agricultural infrastructure projects were properly implemented and serve their purpose of improving market access for farmers. Tiu Laurel warned against a so-called farm-to-pocket scheme and vowed to report any irregularities to President Marcos.
Acting Ombudsman Dante Vargas has ordered the preventive suspension of 16 officials from the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office. The suspension took effect on September 18 following complaints filed by Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon. The officials are under investigation over 389.6 million pesos in alleged ghost or fraudulent flood control projects in Plaridel, Pandi, and Bocaue in Bulacan.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has capped daily cash withdrawals at 500,000 pesos per customer to curb money laundering and other illicit acts. Transactions above this threshold must be made via traceable channels from now on, like checks, bank transfers, or digital payments. Clients who wish to exceed the limit must undergo enhanced due diligence, or EDD, including submitting additional documents and proving legitimate business purposes. The Department of Justice has begun evaluating the so-called king and queen of contractors, Pacifico, Curly, and Sara Discaya, for inclusion in the Witness Protection Program. The DOJ says their qualification will depend on truthful testimonies and returning allegedly stolen funds from flood control projects. The agency also warned that protection is a privilege, not a right, and lying may lead to perjury charges.
And Tropical Storm Nando has slightly accelerated while moving over the over the Philippine Sea. Nando was last spotted 1,005 kilometers east of central Luzon. It's expected to intensify into typhoon category by Saturday and into a super typhoon by Monday before exiting the Philippine area of responsibility. May also pass close or make landfall over Babuyan Islands between Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning. Meantime, Nando's trough as well as the southwest monsoon or habagat and localized thunderstorms will bring rains across the country today. And joining us, there he is, via Zoom, Storycon's resident political heckler, Roel Llamas.
Good afternoon! Pasensya na po. Friday traffic. 2 hours na ako sa EDSA.
Totoo ba yan? Parang nasa garahe ka lang eh.
Feeling ko hindi eh. Parang mukhang nasa village pa eh. Nakakalabas lang ng bahay.
Mukhang nasa garahe lang. Baka garahe pa ng ano yan, nandito sa Pasig.
Gusto ko na mag-walkout. Di ako makapag-walkout. Sabi nga ni Chabit.
Lucius.
O, sige.
Okay,
Sige.
and from the Philippine Star, we've got Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, everybody. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend, Ami.
Exciting weekend. No, nabangan
Ganda
namin
naman
yung ano.
ako. Happy ang weekend ni Ami, mga bulaklak na bulaklakin ng dami-dami.
Oh,
Hinihintay natin.
syempre. Madilim madilim. pag medyo bumabagyo,
Hindi nga eh, walang kulimlim eh.
Happy colors.
Huwag mo na i-jinx.
Dito makulimlim.
Baka dumating yung bagyo.
Ang init, mainit lang dito sa studio
Oo,
natin.
don't jinx it. Sana umalis na yung
Oo nga.
bagyo.
Hindi,
Sana umalis si
sinabi
Nando.
naman sa north ang punta ng bagyo, di ba?
Extreme
So,
north.
hindi dito sa Manila.
hindi tayo tamaan.
Tama. Merong may bit-bit na mga ulan.
Sa
Ay
north,
lang,
sa
abagat.
north. Sa north ang tama niya.
Kaya pag,
Pa-north na siya eh.
Kaya pagpunta nyo sa mga rally, basa kayo.
Oo nga, kaya magdala kayo ng... Pwede ba magdala ng payong sa rally ngayon? Kasi minsan may mga
Pwede,
occasion na pinagbabawal yung mga payong
Hindi
dahil
pwede.
pointed object eh.
Basta Juan, basta Louis Vuitton. Hindi pwede yung mga... hindi pwede yung Victoria. Dapat Hermes.
Hindi, Rolls-Royce ang uso ngayon na payong.
Rolls-Royce payong.
Hirap ka
Binunot
na
sa
kay
kotse.
Hiram ka kay Reg. Yan, makanyan. Oh.
Hermes.
Meron yung mga Louis Vuitton na payong. Ako, Hermes lang eh.
Meron
Siya na
din
nga
ako,
yung
nabili
late
ko
eh,
dun
diba?
sa UK.
Siya na nga yung...
Sa
Anong
UK,
oras na?
sa
May hugot
ukay-ukay.
dito yung isa.
Anong oras na? 4:05. And siya na nga yung nasa kotse pa at 4:05, siya pa yung nag-heckle.
Diba?
Ano ba
Kaya
yun?
nga heckler eh.
Ano ba yun? What do we call that? Paano ba yan?
Teka, Bok,
Parang...
may story ng PCIJ ngayon. I wanted to show you guys quickly lang. Something quite interesting lang. Over the past, 3 years, last 2 elections, may mga dumagdag na pangalan na tumanggap ng donations from government contractors, including the President and the Vice President. Okay, yeah, just check the PCIJ website, pcij.org. President Marcos, this is 2022, received 20 million from Rodolfo Hilot Jr., owns Rodhill Construction Corporation, a DPWH contractor. That's 20 million. Also from Jonathan Quirante, who owns Quirante Construction, 1 million naman donation. VP Sara received 19.9 million in advertising from SDevco Realty Corporation. Oh, the donor mismo is the corporation, not the owner or an official, but the corporation itself.
I don't think they can read it. Pero anyways, go.
Okay.
See.
SDevco is a top shareholder.
Masyadong maliit.
Oh, maliit masyado. Okay. SDevco owns Genesis 88 Construction, which is a public works contractor. Anyway, we already know about Lubiano of Chis Escudero, pero may dagdag pa na isa. 10 million for Chis Escudero from Arnel Isilen Pale, who owns AIP Construction, also DPW's contractor. Also from Minard Ngu, 30 million. Chief Executive Officer ng Cosmic Technologies, a DepEd contractor. Joel Villanueva, we know this already, San Jose Builders. Sherwin Gatchalian from Sergio Ortiz Luis, board member of Waterfront Philippines, subsidiary that makes
The
deals with government.
president of ECOP,
Yeah.
the Employers Confederation of the Philippines.
9.5 million from Sergio Ortiz Luis. From Senator Lauren Legado, this is interesting, from her son, Leandro Lebiste, who is a founder and, of course, was a founder CEO of Solar Philippines, which is a government franchise holder. Donation of 100 million. I suppose this was 2022. Hindi pa congressman si Leandro noon.
Laki nun ah.
Oh, 100 million. Mula sa anak, pupunta sa nanay. Robin Padilla, from Maynard Ngu again, and from Francisco Chiu Laurel, who is now the Agriculture Secretary, also to Mig Zubiri, because of course Laurel was former president of Frabel subsidiary, which
So,
makes
in short, si Secretary Laurel both donated to campaigns and received campaign donations from contractors himself. So, paano ba yan?
So, interesting. Remember nga, Omnibus Election Code, Section 94.
Very clear. It's as clear as day. Clear
Baka si
as...
Congressman Barsaga na lang ang matira sa line of succession.
Balik Barsaga na naman tayo.
But alam mo naman, we spoke to COMELEC Chair George Garcia about this, right? First of all, how did they not know this, right? I think ngayon lang that all of this is coming out that they're feeling the pressure to look into it. I don't know.
Well, they keep saying
I'm just
COMELEC is undermanned, which in part is true kasi maliit lang ang finance unit ng COMELEC eh. It's
Pagiging
actually,
underman ka, mga major personalities yan. Hindi naman yan mga barangay captain.
that's,
Yeah,
that's also
yeah,
true.
these are the highest levels of government, right?
But
So-
remember, even when they submit their sources at the end of 30 days after the elections, COMELEC barely has enough people and time to sort the sources and
To
check.
verify.
So they just take it for granted that whatever declaration is made is regular and truthful.
Well, kaya nga,
Yes.
'di ba, in the lead up to the midterm elections, they kept saying they will make it transparent and they will post all the sources on the website. But remember, I was asking him about this a few weeks ago. Wala naman dun eh. If you go on the COMELEC website and look for the sources, you will only find one-pager indicating how much they receive. These are self-declarations. They will indicate, okay, I receive 100 million, but it doesn't break down who gave what.
Summary lang.
Yung part na yon, hihingin mo pa sa COMELEC, which is my point to Chair Garcia. Why did you add an extra layer when you were talking about transparency? Di i-post mo na lahat so any citizen can take a look at it, right?
Saka na yan eh. 3 years ago pa yan eh. No? 3 years
Hindi,
ago na.
uunahin daw
Tagal
nila
na
yan.
Ang hirap naman na sabihin mo na hanggang 3 taon wala pa rin kayong ginagawa. At least yung mga key positions, di ba? So, medyo mahirap ipaliwanag. PCIJ pa ang naglabas.
I also don't...
Pero noong 2022, hindi pa yata siya na ba yung chairman? I
Hindi pa
think he was
siya
the
chair.
election lawyer of the president
Yeah,
at that time.
hindi pa, Ami, but
Diba?
yung hinihingi ko sa kanya kay Chair Garcia was 2025 sources. Right? Yun yung hindi...
Ilalabas yata nila yun.
Hindi, sabi niya, you need to write to them to ask for those. So they will give it, pero there's an extra layer of protection there for the politicians, which is my point. Why add an extra layer there if we're talking about transparency and accountability, right?
So what they just did is post
Baka gawin na
summary.
nila ngayon.
Parang gawain dati ng Congress. Dati kasi when Congress would say that, we're releasing the SALENs, they don't really release the SALENs. They just give you a summary ng top
Essentially,
top 10
exactly. So these are half measures.
assets.
These are half measures. They want to be able to say, okay, we did this, but the truth is far different from what we need. So then yung kinakabahan natin with the budget reform process in Congress, right? Open nila yung BICAM. And to be fair, the BICAM process is open to a certain extent to the media and the public, except at one point, pinapalabas na siya ng room, di ba? So I'm also worried na baka it might turn into something like that. But anyways, talking about...
Ginagalit niya yung bigote ni Regina eh.
Talking
Saka,
about...
Juan, at saka Ami, kahit hindi ikaw technically yung chairman pa nung 2022 elections, immediately after naging chairman ka na. So it is your job na balikan yon.
Yeah.
Dahil may prescriptive period naman yan eh. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa naman lampas eh.
Well...
So mahalaga na balikan mo. Yan yung gagawin ni Senator Ping Lacson, na guest natin ngayon. Babalikan niya yung ilang taon
Yan ang segue.
dito sa budget, di ba?
Yan ang segue.
Yan nakasegue na.
Okay ba segue?
Nakasegue na.
Since minention mo na, let's bring in our guest today, Friday, Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson, Chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee and Senate President Pro Tempore. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for joining us
Good
again.
afternoon, sir.
Hi,
Regina,
Senator.
Ed, Ronald, and Ami. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all.
Una, Senator, condolence sa pag-head nyo ng Blue Ribbon.
Ano na, condolence?
Yeah,
Ang hirap ng trabaho na yan.
mahirap. One common criticism doon sa nangyaring pagdinig kahapon. Ito very common. Bakit ko pinayagan yung dalawa na mag-interpellate, no? At bakit ko pinayagan na mag-participate? Well, I have to explain, dahil yung inhibition, individual decision yan personal decision. Ako bilang chairman, hindi ko sila pwedeng pagbawalan na mag-attend. Kasi una-una, mga miyembro sila. Pangalawa, meron yung basic right din na i-confront yung accuser. No? Which in this case, si Bryce. Pero hindi rin na kontento. But alam nyo, I can understand and I can feel the anger at saka yung frustration ng mga netizens, no. Understandable 'yon because they really want to see quote unquote blood, ano. And ayaw lang huminto lang do sa level ni na Bryce. Ang naging problema kasi kahapon na ano tayo na parang nagkaroon tayo ng black after Bryce, ano, kasi nagdig in si Alcantara. But I hope and we'll try our best na to get past Alcantara. Kasi yun, it will open the proverbial can of worms. Pag Alcantara yung nagsalita, paakyat na yan. Kasi siya yung, obviously, siya yung contact noong mga malalaking tao.
Sir, to your point, I know you issued a press release already about it today. Basahin ko lang for the benefit of our viewers who haven't seen. It's a long press release about the hearings yesterday, but basically you said it is a person's basic right to confront his accuser. In case you didn't notice, I did not clear the 2 senators on the issue of budget insertions because the budget books validate Bryce Hernandez's allegations based on my own staff's research, at least in the case of Senator Estrada. So that's part of your statement.
Yeah, that is correct, Regina. No, there are 3 elements. There's 1 element lacking, actually. The 2 elements are already present. Number 1, the allegation hurled by Bryce Hernandez against Senator Joel Villanueva doon sa 600 million insertions na nangyari doon sa 2023 budget. At first, we were not able to locate that because we were looking at the regular budget. Ang mabuti, si Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, being the chairman of the Finance Committee ng Senado, nilabas sila lahat yung unprogrammed appropriations. No? There's a long list na may mga items. And my staff, very quickly, were able to spot yung 8 items na tumama, no? Eksakto do sa dinidescribe o ina-enumerate ni Bryce Alcantara na ito yung mga items na sinasabi niyang inallocate ni Senator Villanueva sa Bulacan. So sakto, kung ano yung description, yun din yung, and when I computed, yung 8 items na yun, 75 million pesos. So 8 times 75 million, that's exactly 600 million. So settled na yon. In the case of Senator Estrada, earlier on pa, na-establish na namin yun kasi nakita namin doon sa budget. Madaling hanapin kasi nasa regular budget. 355 million, nakadistribute sa 7 items na iba-ibang amount, iba-ibang halaga, pero pag tinotal, 355 million. Now, validated yon. Yung allegation ni Bryce Alcantara, validated ng documents, ng official records, which is DIGA. The problem is the third element. Yung sinabi niyang merong 30% na kickback or porsyento ng 2 senador. It remains as an allegation. So, kanina, nag-discuss ako kay Senate President Soto to allow, because si Bryce Hernandez, nagpaalam sa akin kahapon sa chairman, kung pwede siyang payagan, maghahanap siya ng ebidensya. Siguro magkakalkal siya sa mga records niya. At first instance, hindi ko pinayagan, nireject ko. Kasi ang unang pumasok sa isip ko, baka may planong tumakas ito, hindi na bumalik, masalisihan yung OSAA. Or baka maglilinis ng kanyang bank accounts. Kasi remember, nagsimula na mag-freeze ng accounts. Yung CA, Court of Appeals, nag-issue na ng order to freeze their accounts. Baka merong hindi nahagip na ililinisin niya. Yun ang unang pumasok sa isip ko. But I slept over it, and this morning, I realized na, okay, pwede isugal. Kasi kung ang stake naman is higher, na baka makakita siya ng masyanong ebidensya to support yung kanyang kiniklaim na mayroong kickback. Not only pertaining to the 2 colleagues of mine, but yung iba pa. Kasi remember, naka-party-party na yung mga pera. Isa lang yung in-identify niya na, of course, nag-deny, ano? Yung isang congresswoman. So yun ang napag-usapan namin kanina, and I made a letter request, a formal letter request to the Senate President, and he has approved it. So it's just a matter of scheduling. Kung kailan ang nirequest ko doon is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. only, walang overnight. And all the time, every minute, yung o saan na escort niya will be beside him. Hindi siya iiwanan. Even, at saka I inform my staff na inform niyo yung lawyer. That's very important. Na alam ng lawyer na siya lalabas, magkakaroon ng pass from his detention facility sa Senate para for the sole purpose of looking for documents. So we will wait for those documents kung meron man para next hearing meron development.
Sir, how many
Now,
days?
another point.
How many days did you give him, sir? Ilang araw po?
Alin? Yung
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Isang araw lang.
One day.
One
half
day lang.
Day, 12
Okay.
hours. Yeah.
So isang araw lang po siya
overnight.
makakabalik.
Kasi,
Okay.
Yeah. Pag alis siya ng 6 a.m., may biyahe pa yan. So, babalik siya, kailangan nasa loob na rin siya ng Senado at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Sir, we
Senator,
understand
paano
what
yan?
you're saying.
Blue ribbon yan eh. How will you deal with the senators na nai-implicate ngayon dyan sa mga anomalya na yan? Paano yung pag may nakuha kayong ebidensya or even kahit ngayon nakulang-kulang? Paano silang ititreat? Yun ang tinatanong ng mga tao eh. How do you deal with, halimbawa, Senator Jinggoy, Senator, sila, resource person ba sila? Or biglang mababaliktad ba yung role nila na hindi na sila pwede magtanong and they will be answering, actually, mga akusasyon sa kanila. Ano magiging status nila pag ganun?
That will, again, depend on them. Kasi parang delikadesa issue to. If they want to inhibit or accuse themselves, then it's their call. If they don't and they want to continue questioning, then I cannot force them also not to interpellate. Kasi nga member sila ng Blue Ribbon Committee. It's their call. But now, once we find the remaining element, yung evidence na kailangan natin, at meron nun, immediately, I will make a recommendation to the ICI for the filing of kasi yun na lang element na hinihintay ko eh. Without that, parang kulang naman, hilaw naman na ipadala ko on the basis of the allegation plus yung validation ng budget books. Hindi sapat yun. Kailangan, kasi it's not illegal to insert to make...
Senator, para sa purposes ng ating mga tagapakinig, paano ang ebidensya yung makukuha nyo or makukuha ni Bryce? Dahil usually kasi pag kickback, wala namang resibo yan eh. Kickback nga, di ba? So ano yung sa inyong karanasan sa mga ganyang klaseng investigasyon, anong klaseng ebidensya ang pwede niya i-produce para sa kickback?
Sure. Probably ledger, probably notebook, mga notes na clearly written not just today or tomorrow or day after, but in the recent past. In the case of Senator Villanueva, kung 2023, if he can produce convincing documents na sinulat niya ito noong 2023, and in the case of Senator Estrada, kung meron siyang clear na may pakita na isinulat niya sa notebook niya yon noong May 2025, when the allocations or yung baba ng alokasyon, kasi dalawa yan eh. 5 yung May 2025, 2 yung sa July 2025. Noon yung naibaba, yung sinasabi niya nagbaba ng proyekto, confirm na yon. Because it's very clear in the GAA of 2025 na talaga merong items as exactly as described by Hernandez. So wala nang duda pa doon kasi hindi naman alam ni Bryce Hernandez na i-check namin sa GAA yun eh. Ang remaining element na nga lang, as I mentioned earlier, yung allegation niya, accusation niya na merong kickback na 30%.
Yes, sir. Sir,
without that,
yes,
anong kaso magpa-prosper? Kasi any senator, alam naman natin, nagre-realign naman talaga. Kasi amendment ng tawag dyan eh. At hindi rin natin matrace kung sino yung nag-insert. Because ang initial finding namin doon sa case noong 355 million, kasama ito sa 142 billion na na-realign o na-insert doon sa BICAM ng 2025 budget.
Yes, sir. So, sir, very, very basic question, sir. Kasi at what point does it become illegal? I think you're about to explain that kanina eh, na the insertion per se is not necessarily illegal. It's actually the kickback or the yung pinagkakaperahan. That's what makes it a criminal act. Eh. Am I getting that right?
That is correct. Absolutely. Kasi without the third element, yung element ng bribery, or yung kickback, wala tayong kaso.
So
Magagalit lang tayo kasi
Senator,
bakit inallocate yung pondo. Yeah.
So ipapasa nyo sa ICI, hindi Blue Ribbon ang magki-question. Kung sakasakaling makuha nyo yung third element na ebidensya, you will not be questioning the senators, your colleagues. Sa ICI nyo ipapasa yung pag-question sa kanila.
Yes, and it's up to the ICI to issue a subpoena sa kanila. Sila mag-explain doon. Kasi hindi naman kami prosecution eh. Ang inquiry namin is in aid of legislation. So now, meron ng initial na proposal si Senator Gatchalian on account of the humongous unprogrammed fund under the Special Purpose Fund ng GAA ng 2025. So ang suggestion niya is alisin na natin yung unprogrammed fund sa 2026 budget. So that in itself is the legislation na pwedeng i-derive dito sa aming ginagawang pagdinig.
Sir, I get what you mean na it's a matter of delicadeza pa lang at this point and that you cannot do anything with regard to your colleagues if they are even if they are implicated until cases move forward. Pero at the same time, wouldn't that also hamper your investigation? I mean, hanggat hindi sila, for example, held criminally liable, wouldn't your colleagues be able to interfere, influence the course of your investigation, and in effect hamper what you're doing?
No, not at all. Kasi meron akong guidelines eh. Meron silang 5 minutes excluding the responses ng mga resource persons, and they're only allowed one follow-up question related to sa preceding question ng original interpellator. I've been very strict in that regard. So hindi pwede makontrol and hindi pwede ma-influence kasi hindi lang kaya ma-influence kung halimbawa dumating yung pagkakataon na klaro yung third element na sinasabi ko para ma-buttress yung yung kaso, magkaroon ng semblance ng sabihin na natin prima facie evidence. What more influence can they exert pagka naando na yon? Agad-agad yung nakalap na ebidensya na yon, yung GAA, yung testimony, plus yung kung ano man yung kung may ledger man, merong notes o merong kung ano man na talagang sufficient na ebidensya, then immediately I'll forward that portion ng aming inquiry sa ICI or pwedeng diretso sa ombudsman. But I'd rather pass it to the ICI.
Sen, they've never approached you ba?
Functions nyo with the ICI dahil nabanggit nyo na ipapasa nyo. Pero wala rin namang prosecutorial powers ang ICI eh. So ano yung para sa ating tigapakinig? Ano yung kaibahan ng gagawing investigasyon ng TRICOM, ng Blue Ribbon at saka ng ICI? No? Ano yung pagkakaparehas? Ano yung pagkakaiba?
Well, yung main purpose, ang objective ng TRICOM at saka yung Blue Ribbon in aid of legislation. Pero sa amin, yung Blue Ribbon is accountability of public officers and investigations. So, pwedeng mag-recommend kami ng filing of cases. As a matter of fact, yung after my 2 privilege speeches, hindi pa na-perform, hindi pa na-constitute yung ICI, I immediately provided Secretary Vince Dizon ng isang USB containing all the attachments, all the documents, including my own privilege speech, 1 and 2 privilege speeches. At the same time, I also provided the same USB kay Mayor Magalong, even hindi pa siya nanonombrahan bilang advisor ng ICI. And another USB, binigay ko doon sa acting ombudsman. Nagkataon nandun siya sa Senate noon, dumaan sa opisina ko, dahil may pinapalop na legislation or probably sa budget ng ombudsman. So I took the opportunity. Sabi ko, pwede bang bigyan namin kayo ng USB? Willingly, of course, sabi niya. So binigyan ko and sabi ko, ang purpose ko rito because I learned from the AMLAC kasi naging bisita ko rin yung AMLAC dahil nagpapalop din ng pinapiyasan yung kanilang budget sa NEP yung budget proposal So nung nagkausap ko sila, tinatanong ko, what will it take the AMLC para mag-trigger mag-initiate ng pag-freeze? Sabi nila, without a formal complaint, we cannot act. So knowing that, I immediately informed Secretary Vince and the others, pati yung ombudsman. Sabi ko, kailangan magkaroon ng formal complaint kagad para na sa ganun, makagawa na kayo agad ng request sa AMLAC para mag-initiate na sila ng paano mag-freeze. Ang ganun nga nangyari. And in fairness to the ombudsman, acting ombudsman, Ombudsman Vargas, sabi niya, immediately tomorrow, idadakit ko na ito. Babasahin, kukunin ko lang itong USB na to, then idakit ko na kagad.
Senator,
Ngayon,
I want to come back.
Naka-freeze na yung, nag-issue na yung CA ng freeze order eh.
Oo nga.
Marami nang naka-freeze order.
Yeah.
And yesterday, kaya nagpaalam na maaga yung AMLAC, kasi sabi niya, baka pwedeng mauna na ako ng 12 o'clock. Kasi 1 o'clock, pupunta sila sa CA para naman ipa-freeze yung account ng Diskaya. Kasi ang daming accounts. Malulula kayo sa dami ng hindi transactions, ha? Bank accounts.
Senator, just
Hundreds.
one very quick question coming back to Senators Estrada and Villanueva, just to close off that part of the conversation. Hindi po ba awkward at the Senate? Have these senators or their staff never approached you to try to talk things out? Hindi ba kayo, kamusta po yung interactions natin?
Actually, I volunteered to them, kasi yung issue ng Mina Jose, yung dumalaw. So I immediately told Senator Estrada, sabi ko, there's nothing doon sa visit ni Mrs. Jose. Because nung nasundan yung CCTV at saka yung nagsambit din ng affidavit, nakita namin doon, iba yung sadya niya talaga doon. Ang pinupuntahan niya, isang employee, isang staff ng Blue Ribbon Committee, not Beng Ramos, kasi Beng Ramos is also with the broom. So, pinuntahan niya because naglalako siya ng insurance. And ito naman, kasi noong nagke-cleansing ako, sabi ko magkaroon ng internal cleansing, agad-agad, 2 employees yung sumulat sa akin. Yung isa, nag-full disclosure na yung husband niya ay either Assistant Regional Director or Regional Director ng DPWH. So sabi ko, mas makabubuti na magpa-transfer na lang siya without diminishing yung kanyang salary grade, yung level niya. The other one, nag-disclose siya, pinakita lahat yung thread nila ni Mina Jose. At nakalagay nga doon na ang pakay, tulungan daw na magbenta siya ng insurance sa mga senador. Actually, meron pang portion doon na ipakilala mo naman sa mga senador kasi baka naman makakuha ko ng contract yung sa DPWH. In fairness to the lady, yung not Beng Ramos, ang sagot niya doon, sabi niya, nako, ayoko makialam yan, hindi naman ako staff ng senador. Okay. So, in that regard, cleared yung lady employee, lady staff ng Blue Ribbon. So yung maliwanag yun. So in-advance ko na yung information na yun kasi nagtanong si Senator Jinggoy what to expect. Sabi ko, this much I can tell you na you don't have to worry about yung sa CCTV at saka yung aspeto ng kaya nga kinlarify ko kay Bryce Hernandez yun di ba? Okay. Na parang dinugtong niya yung WJ, Beng Ramos, tapos papunta kay Senator Jinggoy. Yeah. Yun.
So wala naman pala yun. And there's
no... Yung sa aspect ng 355, sabi ko kay Senator Jinggoy, ito, ibang usapin to. Ito, may papaliwanag ka naman dito, sabi ko.
Ano pong reaction niya, sir?
Well, wala lang. He took it lightly. Medyo seryoso yung looks niya, no? So, yun lang. Wala siyang comment.
So wala pong internal pressure for you to drop or ease up on the investigation?
Wala namang makaka-pressure sa akin na Regina Kasi nag-usap na rin kami ni Senate President Soto nitong pagbalik namin sa Senate. Ano tayo? Sabi ko, sagasa. Ano pa bang kinabukasan natin sa politika kundi hanggang dito lang tayo sa term na ito? Kaya sabi ko, pagbutihin na natin to para sa bayan na lahat ito. Wala na tayong politikang iniisip. Wala na tayong pag-goody-goody kung saan-saan dyan. Basta magsilbi na lang tayo maayos. And we agreed. Meron na kaming usapan dalawa dyan.
Okay. Senator, may balak din ba kayong i-expand yung probe? Kasi ngayon naglalabasan. Pati daw farm-to-market roads. Iniimbestigan ngayon. At meron ngayong araw naman na lumabas 1,000 classrooms daw na ginawa ng DPWH. Hindi rin natapos. Are you planning to expand beyond flood control kung sakasakali?
Kung may papasok na mga issues or evidence or posibleng resource persons or mag-volunteer ng information, why not? Kasi may motu proprio naman yung ano eh. Pwedeng i-expand anytime. But right now, ang naging basis noong investigation o yung inquiry ng Blue Ribbon, yung dalawang privilege speeches ko plus yung underwater something, ano, yun ang simulan ni Senator Marcoleta when he first chaired.
Sir, may binabanggit kayo kanina, nakakalula yung number of bank accounts sa mga Diskayas. You were saying hundreds. Can you be a bit more specific?
Well,
like how many hundreds?
Yeah, ang mas nakakalula, yung magdala ng cash si Sally Santos ng 457 million pesos in one count. One single delivery, 457 million pesos na hindi naman tinanggi ni Hernandez. In-acknowledge niya eh. Kasi mukhang, alam mo, at that point, nandun na sa remorse, nasa parang punto na may remorse na siya eh. Muntik pang maiyak eh.
Pero sir, hindi siya consistent si Bryce. At one point, he said 100 million, tapos parang 100. Malayo naman yun, sir, from 467.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of, you know, when you ask the question, you know the answer. Kasi kung di mo alam ang sagot, tatanggapin mo na yung 100 million. But when I ask him that question, alam ko na yung 457 million eh. When I ask that question, alam ko na mayroong 141 million pa. When I ask that question, alam ko na may 65 million pa. April, May, and March. Tatlo yung nasa record ni Sally Santos eh. Because Sally Santos, the night before, nag-indicate na talaga na gusto mag-tell all. So sabi ko, magsabit na ng affidavit, draft affidavit. And she did, you know, with the assistance of lawyer. Tapos, ina-expect na namin na itong hearing kahapon, magsasalita si Sally Santos. So, kasama na yan sa kanyang revelation na, kasi alam ko rin nag-deliver siya ng cash eh. Hindi ko lang alam kung magkano, at saka yung eksaktong date. So, when I ask her that, tiningnan niya yung notes niya. Ito yung sasabi ko, Ronald, na ito yung maliwanag na resibo. Yung meron kang notes na hindi naman manufactured kasi ginawa ito, may petsa kung kailan. Ito yung credible na mga resibo. Kasi pwede rin sabihin ni Bryce na ito may nakita ko, pero napaka-obvious na ginawa niya lang halimbawa bukas. Eh hindi naman katanggap-tanggap yun. Pero makikita rin naman natin, di ba yung maski yung mga investigador, mga police investigators, ina-admit na ebidensya sa korte pag pinresenta na yung investigator's notebook.
Senator, yung dalawang privilege speech nyo ay yung kaibahan niyan doon sa ibang mga senador ay tinalakay nyo yung possible corruption hindi lang sa kasalukuyang gobyerno kung hindi sa previous government, no? Yun yung isang very compelling element ng inyong privilege speech. Pero at the same time ay yung bagong majority ngayon ay kasama halimbawa yung mga 2 bilyar at 1 Cayetano, no? Paano nyo ibabalanse yung pagiging majority at the same time iimbestigahan halimbawa yung dating secretary ng DPWH katulad ni Mark Villar? Di ba maapektuhan yung political alignment at realignment sa Senado?
Eh kung may ebidensya eh. Ang problema, naghahanap ang mga tao ng ebidensya, naghahanap din ako ng ebidensya. Kung wala naman darating na ebidensya, pangit naman magbintang tayo. Maski sa perception, maliwanag na merong kinalaman. Pero kung wala naman tayong, ganito lang Ronald, we'll go where the evidence leads us. Not where the, sabihin natin, angry netizens will take us. Kasi ligaw tayo, distracted tayo pagka yung na-distract tayo nung, na-influence tayo, na-sway tayo noong galit ng netizens. Kaya I'm trying my best to stay focused. So kung saan ebidensya, doon tayo. Maski galit na galit to sa akin kasi may mga nambabasa rin. Yung iba trolls kasi tingnan mo naman yung follower 0, follower 1. Pero bas ng bas, ba't daw binebi ko si Alcantara? Eh minsan, maski alam kong troll, sinasagot ko na rin. Paano kung bebe, kinulong ko nga.
Huwag mo na sagutin.
Maubos
Si
na ako.
Senator naman. Senator, nakikita namin yan, limpak-limpak na cash na yan eh. Meron ba kayo nakikitang dapat na i-reform? Although nag-umpisa na yung BSP, kinap yung withdrawals ng cash.
Oo.
Ano yung nakikita nyong dapat
yung
mangyari?
circular.
Kasi sobra-sobra yan. Paano ba naman, anong gagawin? Anong pwedeng gawin, Senator?
Maganda yung circular, And I salute DSP Governor Remolona, Dahil naisip niya na, okay, total 500,000 naman threshold, walang pwede mag-withdraw ng cash in one day na mahigit sa 500,000. So yun lang, magiging cumbersome na yan doon sa mga maglalagay. O maghuhulog siya araw-araw ng 500,000 kung maglalagay siya ng halimbawa 30 million, ilang araw yun. Masusundan siya ng bank official, masusundan siya ng AMLAC. Bakit araw-araw nag-withdraw siya ng 500,000? Di ba? Magiging cumbersome. Medyo mahirap para doon sa bribe giver at saka yung recipient ng bribe. Dahil alam naman, ang bribe ngayon, hindi na, sabi nga, may narinig nga ako, isang bigayan, 100 million. Ganun na kalalaki ang bribes ngayon eh. Pero alam mo, kung pag-aaralan natin sa level, taasan natin ng konti yung level ng ating discussion, saan pa nag-ugat lahat ito? Just like when you plant a tree, di ba nagsisimula ka sa seed? No? Pupunla ka, tutubo. Nakita ko seed dito, Congress eh. Kasi kung wala itong katakot-takot na insertions, wala rin gagawing kababalaghan yung mga district engineering offices. Kasi nung tinaasan yung threshold, from 50 million, tinaasan hanggang 150 million, kung mapapansin nyo, karamihan ng mga alokasyon, yung mga awarded, mga awarded contracts, wala lumalabas sa 150 eh. 92, 77, 100 plus. Kasi nga, nasa level na ng at na-surprise din ako na nung tinanong ko yung DBM na hindi na pala dumadaan sa central office yung pag-download ng NCA at saka yung SARO. Diretso na pala from the DBM sila na ang nagbababa sa DEO. Kaya nga nangyari yung kay Sally Santos kasi nagbaba yung ng pondo, nakatakot-takot, siyempre sa District Engineering Office, of course, land bank yan eh. And then ang mangyayari, ang naging modus operandi, yung District Engineering Office, ipa-fund transfer yan, papunta doon sa account, sa land bank din, ni Sims, ni Sally Santos. Tapos ang gagawin ni Sally Santos, pag nakaipon na siya ng malaki, wini-withdraw niya na over the counter. At yun nga nakapagtaka, hindi pa rin na-resolve ito ng last hearing. Bakit yung contractor ang nagbabayad sa DEO? Samantalang ang procedure, dapat yung District Engineering Office ang nagbabayad sa contractor kung tapos na. May progress billing na. Pero alam naman natin kalokohan, in 2 days, nag-progress billing ng 46% eh. So kutsabaan na talaga eh.
Ang sagot niya doon is hiniram lang yung lisensya niya for that project, right?
Well, whether hiniram yung lisensya, pero paano ka makapag-progress billing after 2 days?
Yeah. Correct. Senator, before we run out of time, I want to bring the conversation to ex-DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan. In your second privilege speech, you made a lot of headlines kasi you directly implicated him to the DPWH, to the flood control scandal through MBB Global Properties. Allegedly, ang isa sa incorporators is his daughter, Fatima Gay Bonoan de la Cruz, who was named as a treasurer. Although you didn't make a specific accusation there, you told everyone, connect the dots. Kayo na mag-connect the dots. What exactly are you trying to say here?
Yeah, kasi wala namang direct participation, at least on paper, si Fatima Gay Bonoan de la Cruz doon sa Global Crit, yung construction firm na Maglangke. Kung titingnan natin yung GIS, pamilya Maglangke lang yun eh. Wala namang, hindi naman incorporator, hindi naman stakeholder yung Fatima Gay Bonoan or yung si Bernardo. Ano sila? Stakeholder sila do sa MBB Global Properties na nagmamayari ng Wyndham Garden Hotel sa Clark na almost 1 billion pesos ang paggagawa. So kung magkakasosyo yung anak ni dating Yusek Bernardo na nauna na rin na sangkot sa anomalya, kaya nga pinag-early retirement o pinag-leave, di ba, ni Bonoan. And then anak ni Bonoan, tapos anak ni Maglangke, sabi ko na nga, connect the dots. Ayoko magbintang, kayo na lang bahala mag-isip na may connection pala itong mga ito. Kaya pala naman pinagmamalaki nung si Mayor Maglangke na may-ari ng Global Crit Builders na siya ay bilyon-bilyon ang nakuha niyang kontrata. Ang isa pa nakakagulat, kaya balikan ko yung sinabi ni Ronald kanina, interesting na hindi lang tayo naglilimit dito sa from 2022 to 2025. Alam nyo, nung kahapon na talakay din namin, na tinanong ko si Diskaya, nakamagkano na ba kayo for the past 10 years? Lahat kontrata, wag na yung flood control lang. lahat ng infrastructure projects na nakuha nyo sa DPWH. O hindi niya alam, meron akong hawak ko na yung record ng DPWH. Sabi niya, isa lang alam niya. Yun naman pattern niya, sagot niya. Ang alam ko lang yung sa akin, sa St. Gerard. Sabi ko, mag-asawa kayo. So ako na nagsabi na from 2016 hanggang to date, 2025, 207.25 billion pesos ang nakuha nila lahat na kontrata. So if that is not influence or influence enough, I don't know what is. Kasi nakita namin din yung pattern. 2016, hindi pa masyado, parang nasa mga 3 billion plus. Pagdating ng 27, nag-spike na siya, ang taas-taas na. 2018, ganun din. 2019, kasi nga, nabito ni Pangulong Duterte, dahil di ba na-discover namin yung katakot-takot na insertion, 95 billion yung nabito. So bumaba siya doon sa 2019. 2020 COVID, 2021 COVID, busy-busy pa rin yung lahat ng kumpanya niya. Tapos na-establish din namin, sino ba itong mga ka-joint venture ninyo? Meron kaming top 5. Hindi ko na matandaan. No? Pero pag sinabi nating joint venture, hindi naman talaga joint venture yan. Royalty yan. Sa'yo yung award na contract, ipapasubcon or whatever, royalty lang. So doon pa lang, pinapakwenta ko sa staff ko, based on the joint venture agreements or joint ventures na pinasukan ng mga Diskaya, nakamagkano sila sa ano pa lamang, sa royalty pa lamang. Para sila McDonald's.
Sir, the Diskayas were at the DOJ kanina, angling to become state witnesses. And I suppose itong mga ibang cooperating right now, they're also angling for the same thing. At what point do we say, hindi ka na pwede kasi ang laki ng kinita mo?
Call na ng DOJ yon kasi sila yung nangangasiwa sa Witness Protection Program. Kahapon, nung afternoon lunch break, nakiusap si Senator Marcoleta kung pwedeng pagharapin si DOJ Secretary Remulla at saka si Curly Diskaya na pinabigyan namin kaming dalawa ni SP. Sabi ko, sige, bahala kayo mag-usap kung makonvince nyo si Secretary Remulla. I don't know what happened. Pero yung kahapon lang, development, when Secretary Remulla or maybe yung staff niya, nung narinig nila yung testimony ni Sally Santos, medyo naging interesado sila na pwedeng ipasok sa Witness Protection Program. Ang problema kay Sally Santos, baka limitado yung SIMS doon lang sa District Engineering Office ng Bulacan or maybe sa iba pang napasukan nila ng kontrata. Hindi makakaangat yun kasi ang laging kadil niya lang si Bryce Hernandez. Ang problema, pagdating kay Bryce at nagturo siya kay Alcantara, denied to death naman siya, si Alcantara. So putol But I just hope na si Alcantara will see the light of day kasi nakadetain siya. Iba yung pressure na nakadetain ka. Tapos alam mo nakapress yung mga accounts mo, hindi ka makagalaw. So somehow may pressure yon. And I hope tumalab yung pressure at sa susunod na pagdinig o bago dumating yung next hearing, magbago ng isip at magsasabi na rin ng totoo. Yun ang hope natin.
You said he's the key, si Alcantara.
Yung mga bangko na pinag-uusapan natin, bakit hindi naman bago itong red flag sa 500,000 na mga withdrawal No? Dati pa yan So paano naglabas ng daan-daang milyon, daan-daang bilyon sa mga bangko? Hindi accountable itong mga bangkong ito. Or even AMLA. Ibig sabihin, di ba kakutsaba rin sila? Oo.
Hindi, limitado yung kanilang kapasidad. Alam mo ba, Ronald, kung ilang transactions tayo ang nako-cover ng AMLAC sa isang taon? 150 million transactions. Kung kulang ka ng tao, digital naman yan. Pag automatic yung bank official, i-report sa kanila yun Pero ipag-analyze, ibang usapan yon. Kaya nga nung budget deliberation namin, nung AMLAC, kasi kinaltasan sila from 333 million na napakanipis na nga, pinawasan pa sila na iwanan sa kanila 51%. I think around 162 million. Tapos yung mga binawas na sa mga may 65 million yata. Ang comment ko nga doon sa chairman to convince him, si Senator Gatchalian, sabi ko yung kanilang budget ngayon, mas malaki pa yung cost ng isang flood control project Tapos yung kanilang, yung mga pag in-itemize mo yung mga kinaltas, mas malaki pa yung komisyon Sabi, bakit naman magpagkaitan? Lalo na ngayong tiyempo na ngayon na kailangan natin ang strength o yung lakas ng AMLAC.
Pero sir, I think
kung pwede i-restore na natin yung nabawasan nilang budget.
Yes, sir.
At yun ang gagawin ko kasi nangako na ako, sabi ko, ito mga crumbs na mga budget, ang liliit yung GCG, yung Philippine Competition, ito yung mga maliliit na mga ahensya, pero importante naman yung mga role na kung bibigyan natin ng ikakapacitate natin sa pamamagitan ng tamang budget, marami sila magagawa.
Yes, sir. But sir, I think Ronald's point is the banks should be held accountable as well. Kasi alam mo, maglipat ka lang ng a certain amount, ipa-flag ka na dapat and it should be informing AMLAC.
It's KYC, know your customer.
In this particular case, you're talking about hundreds of millions of pesos in cash.
And reported yun actually. Kaya lang, wala pa namang, kasi siyempre kailangan may predicate crime Bago maka-acto yung AMLAC, di ba kailangan may predicate crime? Yan ang money laundering, anti-money laundering natin Ito, in this case, yung corruption is a predicate crime. Tapos, mabutin lang yun sa amendment, naging covered person yung casinos. So, 5 million yung threshold. So, nakaka-acto sila doon. Kaya nga, nakakuha sila ng mga information tukol doon sa mga ins, outs ng transaction sa casino.
Senator, linawin ko lang kasi nagagalit mga tao bakit daw magiging under witness protection yung mga contractor. Hindi naman dahil under witness protection exculpated ka na, di ba? Nakakahina lang nung kaso against you. Pwede ka pa rin parusahan, di ba?
Ganito. Papasok ka sa witness protection program, walang guarantee na hindi ka accused.
Yes.
Kasi maski nandun ka, pinalan ka, naka-witness protection ka, pero pagka sinabi ng korte na hindi ka qualified, hindi ka ma-discharge as a state witness. Nangyayari yan, Yung sa, I think, yung inimbestigahan ng last Congress, meron silang binigyan ng legislative immunity pagkatapos nasa witness protection, dinecline o kaya nireject ng judge na siya'y ma-discharge as a state witness. So, ayun. I think na-convict yun So, hindi guarantee yun. Kailangan magpakita siya na talagang, dinagdagan nga di ba, sinabi nga ni Senator Marcoleta, wala sa batas, wala doon sa Witness Protection Act, yung restitution. Pero call naman ng DOJ yun
Sen, sorry, we're running out of time, but I'm gonna squeeze in one last question. Wala po bang plano ipatawag uli si ex-DPWH Secretary Bonoan to the hearings? I mean, we've not heard from him since he resigned. Is that it? Is he gonna be let off like that? And secondly, ano yung liability niya dito? At the very, very least, it's gross neglect of duty, right? Because all of these anomalies happened under his watch.
Yeah, maybe next hearing kasi susupin na rin namin si Jose Cabral Kasi hindi siya sumipot sa invitation. Ang katwiran niya, wala na rin sa DPWH. Well, so what? Kung wala ka na sa DPWH, ibig sabihin libre ka na sa investigation? I don't think so.
So, papatawag niyo din po si Secretary Bonoan?
Probably. Yeah, hindi ko sigurado. Kasi, alam mo, pag nagpatawag tayo at hindi naman natatanong, may mga trabaho rin yung mga, lalo yung taong gobyerno. Kaya hindi ko nga pinatawag, di ba, lagi nandun yung 15 top contractors.
Yeah.
Kung hindi naman natatanong, sayang naman yung oras din nila.
It's okay. Mukhang committed na rin naman, sir. I shouldn't say that.
Biased.
But we will leave that there. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair and Senate President Pro Tempore, Ping Lacson.
Salamat, sir.
Thank you, Senator.
And just like that, that is all we have for StoryCon today. Thanks for joining us. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit na nasa garahe pa rin.
Wala ka bang babiyahe yan?
Gumagalaw yung phone Baka ginagalaw lang
niya. Alam niya yung cellphone niya.
Maybe you're just shaking.
Ginagalaw niya lang cellphone niya.
Hindi na ako tumuloy, hindi na ako aabot
sabi na
Hindi naman pareho lang yung background sa likod, hindi naman maandar
Nasa garahe lang yan ng
Sinashake lang niya yung phone.
Yan yung problema rito, inaasahan, delikadesa, naaamin ako, no?
Tapos umamin
yung inhibition, voluntary yan yung inhibition, no? Huwag mo i-impose, no? Para kayong
Parang ano?
Pareho pa rin background sa likod,
Wala, mukhang hindi ka talaga katantanan.
I agree. But join us again on Monday, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Happy weekend. We are One News all sides all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.